Hello everyone, good day to all. This is Mike, Mr. Typhoon Padua, your Typhoon Specialist, returning to our special coverage or special update on Super Typhoon BAVI. And this is for today's Sunday, July 5, 2026. This is our English version, brought to you by Typhoon 2000 and Naga College Foundation. And before we begin, we would like to thank our partners, 𝗗𝗶𝗀𝗶𝗺𝗃 and the local government of Naga City, headed by our Honorable Mayor 𝗗𝗶𝗀𝗃𝗿 and our Honorable Vice Mayor 𝗗𝗶𝘀𝗶𝗺𝗏𝗏. Well, we are now witnessing one of the fastest intensifying tropical cyclone this century. Okay, and we observe this as we enter the development of a super El Nino. And this is also one of the earliest super typhoon that is set to strike the Marianas, particularly Guam and Saipan, Tinian and Rota. And it is the earliest because for the past 50 years, it's rarely that we see this kind of system during the month of July. So this is one of them, one of the rare system that is set to strike the area just a few months after Super Typhoon Sinlaco. So we hope and pray that everybody is getting ready for this powerful system. So BAVI, just like I said, is now this year's most powerful, or one of the most powerful super typhoon since 2026 is just beginning. As we move into the peak season, we still have the latter part of the season where numerous intense typhoons may still form. So it's currently so sad that we are seeing this kind of events, okay, since we are in the era of climate change. And here's now the latest GovSat that we issued last night before it rapidly, or early this morning, yesterday early morning, as we created this GovSat, not knowing that it's already undergoing the fastest rapid intensification process of the system, which I know everybody knows it's extreme rapid intensification, but we can add it as a explosive rapid intensification, or XRI, based on what I'm thinking to tell this kind of weather system. Okay, so this is the GovSat, and as you can see, we have here the Philippine Air Responsibility. Oops, there's a missing line here. There's a missing line here right there, but it's okay. We're going to delete that. And we have a slight easterlies bringing dry conditions across the country because of this high pressure to the south of Japan. Here is Maysak Henry, rapidly intensified into a severe tropical storm as it moves onshore or ashore the over the boundary of Vietnam and southern China. So it made landfall, Maysak or Henry, 110 kph, and the southwest monsoon are concentrated on this system. But once the system dissipates over southern or eastern China, as it expected to be absorbed by this frontal system, the southwest monsoon will shift its attention on BAVI. Once BAVI enters PAR this coming Wednesday, most of the monsoon will move towards the southern part of the circulation of BAVI, or Super Typhoon BAVI. So as I typed this yesterday early morning, it really reached 260 kph, and then yesterday afternoon it reached 270, and right now it's beginning to weaken because of a possibility or a 60 or 70% chance that it is going to proceed to the first IWL replacement cycle. This is common on super typhoons. Every few days, once it reaches peak intensity, it will weaken a bit and then re-intensify. Once it develop a new IWL, so this is the eye wall replacement cycle, where the old one will be replaced by a new one. The shape of the eye will become much larger or become a pinhole size. So we don't know what will be the nature of this 𝗲𝗏. But again, folks over Guam, please prepare for possible impacts on this very powerful storm. So this is the track history. As you can see, 2 a.m. or 2 a.m. of July 3, it's still at 70 knots or 130 kph, and then it goes up to 140. See that? In a span of 24 hours, it shoot up, or in a span of 24 hours, it shot up to 260 kph or 140 knots. That's 130 kph in span of 24 hours. So we are calling this as an explosive rapid intensification. Okay, that's why yesterday I created this kind of chart just for our own purposes. And as we look at the latest website, this is the website from Typhoon 2000, and it shows here at 4 p.m. it rapidly intensified into 270 category 5 XRI. That's the explosive rapid intensification, because it is more than the 85 kph extreme rapid intensification weight. So I created this kind of rapid intensification chart based on what we are seeing here. It's currently okay, let me show it to you. So yesterday afternoon, I created this kind of a tropical cyclone intensification scale, TCIS, classifying how fast a tropical cyclone strengthens. And basically, this is what we are seeing on tropical cyclones: steady intensification, S1, less than 55 kilometers per hour in 24-hour increase, normal strengthening within the typical range. This is the meteorological term used worldwide, rapid intensification. 24-hour increase of 55 kph meets the official meteorological definition, but we added here extreme rapid intensification, ERI, more than 85 kph, 24-hour increase, exceptionally fast strengthening, much faster than standard RI. Then explosive rapid intensification, or XRI, 110 or more kph in 24 hours. This is rare explosive strengthening, extremely dangerous, and high impact potential. So the rapid intensification is the official meteorological term used worldwide, but this is the ERI and XRI are Typhoon 2000 descriptive categories for communication only. Okay, so example, this is the current storm, Super Typhoon BAVI 2026, underwent rapid explosive rapid intensification, XRI. So July 2nd, 75 to 95. July 3rd became 150 to 160. And July 4th, it's up to 70 kph. So strengthening in just 48 hours. The wind increase is 180 to 195 kph. So this is the intensification rate that I created for Typhoon 2000. So this is one of the most remarkable intensification episodes of the 2026 Western North Pacific season. Okay, and then there are also in the past like Patricia. So this is one of them. And why it matters: faster intensification means less time to prepare, forecast uncertainty increases, higher potential for extreme winds, storm surge, and flooding. You stay informed, stay prepared, stay safe. So I created this and created this kind of infographic with the help of ChatGPT. Okay, so disclaimer, this is the usual disclaimer that the official updates is from 𝗶𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃. So this is only for information purposes. Okay, communications only, so that you know how fast this tropical cyclone increases in a span of 24 hours. So that's the TCIS. So we are going to use that in our website. This is our website. So it's here, XRI. I'm going to put some link here so that you'll see what it means. Okay. Now here's the latest from historywave.com. This is now the super typhoon with winds of 260. It's already gone down by 10 kph because of a sign that the system has begun an eye wall replacement cycle. It's upcoming, but you can see the decrease of convection near the center. And here's Guam. So the system is expected to move towards the west-northwest and pass over here this coming early morning of Monday. And here's the another fast animation from weathernerds.org. You can clearly see here that it's beginning to create some moat on the inner and outer eye wall, a sign that it's starting to have some eye wall replacement cycle. If that happens, the wind speeds will begin to drop by 10, 20, or 30 kph, and then after it replaces the old one with a new one, it might re-intensify with a much larger eye or maintain its strength, or even a pinhole eyes, or a pinhole eye, and that's usually the character of a super typhoon. Every few days it undergoes eye wall replacement cycles. So this will not be the first or the last. There will be a couple of more as it moves over the warm Western Pacific Ocean. So here's the fast animation zoom out from windy.com. You can see how clear, how good is the weather over the Philippine Sea. And during the time of the Spaniards, during the past times, our grandfathers, great grandfathers always tells us that they told us that whenever there's good weather, okay, there's a sign that there might be an approaching powerful storm. So this is it, okay. And it's slightly moving westward towards Guam. And here's the latest from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. So this is now expected to weaken a bit, but intensify back to 260 or 270 kph as it passes over the Northern Mariana Islands in between Guam and Saipan. So most likely, the island of 𝗗𝗶𝗀𝗶 will be under the gun of this super typhoon. It's really an extremely catastrophic Cat 5, or Category 5, and there's still no changes on the track. It will enter the Philippine Air Responsibility. This is the power line, okay, where it's here. So once it enters PAR right here, that will be early morning of Wednesday. It will be named locally by 𝗶𝗀𝗃𝗃 as Inday. And look at the large circulation of the system once it enters PAR. The tropical storm force winds might be affecting extreme northern Luzon. So this is extreme northern Luzon. So expect northern Cagayan and this area of Batanes will experience winds of 60 to more than 75 kph gustiness, while the rest of the country will have gale force winds up to tropical depression force winds of 50 or 60 kph gustiness because of the enhanced southwest monsoon. So that's the scenario. So everybody is watching our video over Taiwan. Please take all necessary precautions because it is bound to become a larger tropical cyclone. And although it's expected to be below super typhoon, downgraded into category 4, it's still a powerful typhoon. Okay, nevertheless, this is gonna be a significant super typhoon for this month of July. And we are looking here at the multi tracks from all Asian agencies, and everybody agrees with the track of this system blended together. PAGASA is not yet here because it's still outside of the Philippine Air responsibility. So this is the power line. So once it enters PAR, PAGASA will be issuing 6-hourly updates. So the good news, it's not going to directly have a direct or devastating impact to our country except for the southwest monsoon. As we all know, when we have the southwest monsoon, we expect another round of heavy rainfall on and off across the western sections of the country, including Metro Manila. But let's hope that it's a fast-moving system so that the duration of the southwest monsoon will just be a couple of days. So here's the track of the multi-tracks of all Asian agencies monitoring MISAC or Henry, formerly Henry. It's now moving over the shorelines of northern Vietnam and southern China, the boundary. Okay, so for the next 24 hours, it will rapidly dissipate over land as it moves northward. And here's the latest on the oceanic sea surface temperature. As you can see, it's really warm enough. It's currently at 29 to 30 degrees centigrade. So there's no escape of this system getting more intensity. Okay, although it has begun to have some eyewall replacement cycle. Here's the oceanic heat content, and you can see that the system is moving over very warm oceanic heat content that could boost up or maintain the super typhoon category 5 status of this cyclone. So it's currently here. The system is located here. That's the location of BAVI, and expected to move over this area for the next 3 to 5 days. Is still moving over warmer oceanic heat content. And if we are looking at the same graph, it's on a different name, tropical cyclone heat potential, but it's all the same. It's really over very warm energy source for this system that could boost up the wind speeds. And then here's the vertical wind shear data. Look at that, favorable for intensification. You can see the eye. So all the way up to the eastern or the coastal waters of Taiwan, expect a very calm upper level winds that could boost more intensification of this typhoon. Okay, now here's the global models. This was around 2 p.m. So all of them, including the AI based, Google DeepMind, the AIFS of ECMWF, are tracking the system over Taiwan, and some of it over the 𝗗𝗶𝘀𝗶𝗺𝗏 island chain and 𝗵𝗂𝗄𝗏 will also be under the threat of the system. There's only one, the HWRF, which is now the defunct model being replaced by the HAFS, or maybe this is the AI model and this is the physics based, but it shows towards Batanes, but it's only one, so we're not going to rule that track. Okay, we're going to observe yet for the coming days. And then here comes the interpolated for the latest one as of 8 p.m. Last night. So it's still nothing changes. It's moving towards Taiwan or the 𝗵𝗂𝗄𝗏𝗃𝗏 Islands. So please take all necessary precautions. Although it's still 6 to 7 days from now, it's better that we observe closely the forecast track of the system every 6 hours for possible changes. Now here's the Google DeepMind, it says here category 5. Look at that. Okay, here's my SAC, or formerly Henry. As we move the slider for the next 5 days, it's really gonna enter par as a powerful super typhoon. And then there's another one at the back, but it's still highly uncertain. So the probability here is 50% or more for the next 3 to 5 days, and 50% or less. And if we take a look at the latest on the forecast intensity, so it's currently here at 260, and we expect this to either maintain its strength for the next 4 days or weaken a little. But there is one, this is the ECMWF. Let me see. Yeah, the ECMWF wind model suggesting intensity of more than 300 kilometers per hour. Okay, that's already 295 kph. So we are going to observe this closely, but the rest of the bunch is within the 260 kph category 5. And here's the latest on the multi-model diagnostic comparison by the RAMBB. And it's currently here and expected to either maintain its intensity or weaken slowly as it moves towards Taiwan. And as you can see, the reason behind this is the vertical wind shear will slowly increase until July 8 and 9 up to 55 knots. That will pave way for the weakening of this system. But it's still split when it comes to the forecast. Some say it will maintain its super typhoon status until it makes landfall over Taiwan, while the rest will start to weaken as it enters the Philippine area of responsibility. Well, that's good news, but the effects of the southwest monsoon will remain as normal. It will affect us with strong gale force winds and waves of 3 to 4 meters along the eastern seaboards of the country, as well as the western seaboards. And as we move forward, this ECMWF forecast, you can see as it enters par, it becomes much larger. And then on, let me move this. Yeah. Let me move this. Okay. Oh. And then we move this into Thursday, July 9, and that's the time that the southwest monsoon will start affecting the central Philippines, because it looks like because of the large circulation of this super typhoon, the southwest monsoon will affect much of southern Luzon, Visayas, Mimaropa, and Mindanao as well. The rainfall will be much concentrated over the western section. I'm going to show to you later, but these are the winds that could reach up to 50 or 60 kph across the western sections of the country and into the inland portions of the archipelago. And most likely Batanes will be under signal number 1 or 2 because it's within the large circulation of the outer bands of BAVI. And then Friday, it will make landfall over northern Taiwan. Remember, the forecast of this 1, 2, 3, 4 is 5 days from now. So the probability is around 50%. So a sudden shift to the south will make this storm much dangerous to our country, and it might affect more to the central portions of the country, the central portions of Luzon. So on Saturday, it will make landfall over southern China, southeastern China, and that's the time that southwest monsoon will start to weaken until it will begin, or it will be over the West Philippine Sea on Monday, July 13th. Okay, and we have another system here, but it's outside of the Philippine area of responsibility, moving northward, not entering PAR. So that's the forecast that is still highly uncertain. Okay, and then for the rain forecast, here's the rain forecast. Gonna show to you the 24-hour rainfall accumulation from ECMWF. And here's the July 8th entrance entering PAR as a super typhoon. Look at the rain intensity here. It's more than 200 millimeters. We don't see any 300 millimeters here, but these are only the forecast. But take a look at this. Once it enters PAR and into Thursday, July 9, we have already rainfall of 50 to 100 millimeters across western Mindanao, western Visayas, western portions of Negros Island region, Sulu Archipelago, Palawan, Mindoro, especially Occidental Mindoro, 50 to 100 millimeters, while the rest of the country still will be below that, and dry conditions over Cagayan Valley. And then on Friday, the rainfall will shift to the north, affecting the western sections of Luzon from Ilocos region, Cordillera, Administrative region, down to the western sections of Central Luzon, Zambales, Pangasinan, Bataan, Cavite, Batangas. The rainfall here might exceed 100 millimeters. Over Metro Manila is within 50 millimeters or more, depending on the actual rainfall count, okay, or the rainfall observation of this system. And then on Saturday, July 11, the monsoon will continue to affect the western section of the country, and Bicol region might also experience, particularly the western sections, Pasacao, Balatan, western sections of Albay, Sorsogon, Camarines Sur. Naga will have also rainfall, passing rainfall of maybe 30 to 50 millimeters. And so far, that's the forecast until Saturday and Sunday next week. Okay, and then on Monday to 13th, it will still affect the western sections of Central Luzon, but on Tuesday, it will start to retreat over the West Philippine Sea. So most likely Wednesday, July 15, we'll have improving weather conditions. So let's be prepared with the possible impact of the rainfall on this approaching super typhoon due to the enhancement of the southwest monsoon or habagat. We will be keeping you updated every other day or every day once it enters PAR. And here's the wave heights for those fishermen and sea travelers. Look at that. It's really a large system. Those areas are around 2 meters up to 15 or 14 meters in wave heights. And then beginning Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the areas of the Philippine Sea will have wave heights of 2 to 5 meters. Yeah, and then over the West Philippine Sea, it will be around 2 to 3 meters. It's gonna be dangerous, very large waves due to the enhanced southwest monsoon and the large circulation of this super typhoon. So it's gonna be dangerous to all types of sea vessels. This is the central waters of the country, is still reaching 2 meters, so there's gonna be rougher seas over this area. So that's the forecast beginning next week, Wednesday, until Saturday, July 11th. And then on Monday and Tuesday, there's still large waves over the West Philippine Sea up to 3.5 meters. and most likely maybe July 17, but we're still in the southwest monsoon, so the larger waves of the West Philippine Sea will continue to the second week of July. Okay, so there you go. That's the latest. We exceeded the 30 minutes update on this English version, and we will return likely on Monday for another update. And let's all pray that this system must weaken or recurve before moving into the Philippine Sea, since it's eyeing to become a larger system. Again, this is Mike, Mr. Typhoon Padua, your Senior Typhoon Specialist at Typhoon 2000 and Naga College Foundation. We'll see you again. Stay safe always. Be #𝗗𝗿. Let's all pray to all those who are living in Guam, Saipan, and the rest of the Marianas. Please buckle up and prepare for the passage of yet another super typhoon. Thank you so much. God bless and have a blessed Sunday.